Frequent Miler on the Air starts now. Today's main event, rewards that can't wait. But they'll have to wait because we've got a number of segments before we get into the main topic, right?
The clock is ticking on those rewards though, Craig. I mean, like, time is running out. We gotta get there.
You're right. They absolutely have to get there.
We don't have all year.
But I think we have, the hour or so of this podcast.
We do.
So,
we do.
Hopefully.
So we'll get there.
Shoot, if it really can't wait till the end of this podcast, we shouldn't be putting this out in podcast form. I mean, we should be should be calling people out and like, don't do this now. So we're not
which we have done before. I mean, we've told people to stop listening to the podcast before and like go after something when it was that good.
We have.
Today we may not tell you have to stop listening, but we will say the things you need to take action on soon. But before we get to that though, I'm excited because I imagine that the mailman must have come through between last week and this week, that the letter carrier has dropped off the packages and mail and whatnot that we were missing last week. So I'm curious to see.
Yes. So the giant mailbag, what happened is, you're right, the giant mailbag wasn't delivered last week, so that was a bummer. This week, a whole bunch of giant mailbags came, and so I picked out the YouTube mailbag. There's one just with YouTube
special
feedback.
YouTube one.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So what I did is I just dug through the YouTube reactions that in comment form and picked out a bunch to read off. So in no particular order, and in no particular actually even like reason why I picked these out other than I wanted to.
And you can.
And I can. I've got I'm the one digging through this giant mailbag. I get to choose. All right, let's go. First one. So happy to find the series. It's great for all of us that are deep down the rabbit hole. And I think by rabbit hole, he probably meant like miles and points type stuff, not literally a rabbit hole. I'm just guessing.
Probably, most likely.
You guys are fantastic. Thanks for starting these videos and keeping them up. And two thumbs ups, emojis.
2 thumbs up back at you.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
And I highly recommend the Wyndham Grand at Bonnet Creek, Orlando, and Wyndham Grand at Clearwater Beach.
Woohoo! There we go. We were looking for Wyndham recommendations, right?
That's right. We were, and that's what that was in response to.
Now
so
we know.
If anyone's looking for a couple good Wyndhams, there you go. I'm surprised you didn't talk about or touch upon the massive Expedia devaluation.
That massive Expedia devaluation. Well, I think the reason that we haven't yet talked about or touched on that is because I haven't touched Expedia points with a 10-foot pole. So I haven't been particularly interested. There was a devaluation there, right? I mean, like the VIP properties.
Yeah, I think there was some good use of Expedia points that went away, but same as you. I haven't. Years ago, I think Expedia once had a program that was almost worth paying attention to, and it devalued years ago, and then I never paid attention since then.
And in fairness, I remember at some point in a week in review around the web linking to a post at Lazy Traveler's Handbook. Andy had done a write-up about how you actually could get reasonable value out of Expedia points, but like you can maybe get reasonable value if you hunt for it and work at it. It's just not exciting to me when there's too many currencies out there that you have to work too hard to get amazing value out of.
But for people that do have Expedia points, I guess it is pretty sad. So something bad happened there. So there you go. We covered it.
There it is. Done. Touched on it.
Next one. Great show. Brief and to the point.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Very clear.
Next one. My main question is, hopefully it's the question of the week. Greg, what did you do to scare Nick from post-roasting you? I don't think he has post-roasted you for like 5 Frequent Miler on their episodes. This was a couple weeks back, though, and you have since. So
I have. And I prepared today. Don't worry.
All right, good.
Make him sweat the whole hour here.
And lastly, another fun episode. Thanks, guys. Really enjoy your work. My favorite is the knowledge dropped at 1 hour and 40 minutes. If you listen very carefully, you'll hear all of Greg's MS secrets. So this was a couple weeks ago,
right?
When the podcast went well above an hour and 40, or up to hour 40 something, because there was a whole bunch of dead time, and I roasted you about that last week. So that's what he was joking, that there was some secret at the end there.
Which I hope some people were fast forwarding and listening and like, is it there? Is that what was going on? Was an Easter egg here? There wasn't.
No, sorry. I mean, obviously, if we put in the dead space potentially, that would have been actually a really smart way
Right.
to slip in some like secrets. But
Yeah. We're not
didn't
that
think of
smart, I
that.
guess.
No.
Whoops.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for the mailbag. So what segment is
Wow.
up next?
That's pretty good. Well, that brings us then next up to what crazy thing did City do this week?
All right. But before we get into the contents of that, I do want to say we decided to rename this segment. So many, many weeks we don't actually talk about what crazy things City has done, but what crazy things someone has done, like some business, some loyalty program, some credit
last
card
week
company.
it was IHG. The week before that, it might have been Amex. I mean, it's been
Right.
all sorts of different things, right?
Right. So we're not changing it like entirely. What we're doing is trimming it. So we're just calling it "What Crazy Thing." ... We won't say the ... in the future, but
Just
when
that
you
one
hear
time.
us say "What crazy thing," just imagine ...
Picture ... That's right.
All right. So with that background, what crazy thing do we have on store this week?
Welcome back, City. Welcome back. We missed you.
We
back
have.
again. That's nice to see you again, City. So happy holidays. The City is back this week because they did something crazy. But to be honest with you, I don't know very much about this. I think you know more about what crazy thing City did this week than I do. So why don't you tell us?
It's crazy, like nice to their employees, I think. So what they're doing is they're allowing employees who have been there 5 years or more 12-week sabbaticals, and it's not 100% paid time off, but quarter 25% paid time off, 12 weeks, pretty awesome. Or I'm not sure actually if it's an and or an or, but another thing they're allowing is 1 month of full pay for you being a Citibank employee to go work at a charity. So where you'd work there unpaid for the charity, like the charity wouldn't pay you, but Citibank will pay your full salary while you're there.
Wow.
So that's that's awesome. That
is awesome.
Both nice to the employees, giving them something, both either a sabbatical or this 1 month to do good, and it's something super nice for all these charities and super nice for anyone benefiting from the charities. So
Yeah,
so that's a
really great
great
all the way
kind of
around.
holiday
That's gotta energize
present to
you
the
as-
world, I guess.
Yeah, and as an employee, that's got to energize you too, or energize you too, right? I mean, the ability to spend an entire month giving to something that presumably matters to you, a charity that matters to you.
Right.
I mean, that is pretty awesome. So, City, props to you there. We named the segment after you. I know we do roast you now and then, but here, that's bravo, City. Nicely done.
Yes, and hopefully when employees come back well rested from these sabbaticals, they'll be ready to do more crazy things.
Right, they'll still be crazy, right? They'll still be crazy.
Oh, of course.
I hope. Don't get sane on me. Stay crazy, City.
Stay crazy. All right.
All right. So, Mattress running the numbers this week. So this week, our Mattress running the numbers segment was inspired, at least in part, I think, by an email that I sent trying to figure out what I should do. So we've got this Marriott promotion, and I think you've got the same promotion that I do, right? So
I do.
I can get, you can get, we can get, many people can get up to 22,500 bonus Marriott points. And what it requires is 2 paid stays. After the first paid stay, you get 7,500 points. After the second paid stay, you get 15,000 points. That's on top of whatever you ordinarily earn from the stay. So 2 stays,
right,
get you 22,500 points. Mattress run worthy or what? What do you think? Is this something that if you have it, should you definitely go for it? What's the limit on a paid stay? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. If you have it, go for it, in my opinion. That's if you could get a stay for, I mean, even $100, you're getting points, not terribly cheaply, but not too bad. But I'm thinking more like if you could get a stay for like $70, it's worth Mattress running, I think, to get that many points bonus. And if you have actual stays that you need, of course, I think it's a no-brainer to divert your stay. If you have a paid stay, you're going to be making anyway, and it's you're sort of agnostic to which hotel, and there's something reasonable in the Marriott realm. Absolutely divert your stay to Marriott for this, assuming you don't have an even better promo with another chain. That's
Right.
what about you?
No, I agree with you. I was considering it in the larger context of upcoming stays and activity that I had planned. But definitely, I think it's worth it. Like you said, if you got a cheap Marriott near you, in my case, there's a Marriott nearby that's $50 a night, so it's
Hmm.
actually talking 54. So for
It's
108,
great.
22,500 points,
Right.
I mean that's pretty much a no brainer because I'll surely redeem those points for better value. That they'll save me more than $100 in the long run. So
Right.
I mean, it's
Right.
just like investing in an investment that you know is going to go up in value. So
Yeah.
that's
So I mentioned to you the other day that I'm planning a big road trip, hoping to do a big road trip soon. And one of the things I noticed is, I was trying to figure out how to use up all my Marriott certificates, and I found a Marriott that's like on the path, and I thought, and it got good reviews, and I thought this will be perfect. Till I looked at the paid stay prices that were so
you're
dirt
like
cheap, and I was like, I don't want to waste a certificate on this. But then I remembered this promotion. I'm like, there you
perfect.
go. I won't feel bad about not using a certificate if instead I pay for it. I'll probably pay with a Marriott gift card that I got at a discount, and get
You
these
won't feel bad about
points.
that until the 35K certificate expires, and then
Well,
then
I'm
you will feel
planning.
like
Yeah,
I traded it for 22,500 points. What?
that's right. But I, but I still will, plan to use them all. So
Right. Hopefully. Hopefully. So
hopefully,
I think it's worth it. I think the thing is the timing. So here's
yes,
the additional question is the timing. So when I pull up the promotion in the app, which is where I originally saw it, it says that it needs to be completed by, and it has the number 1 in brackets. It doesn't actually have a date. It doesn't have any information. When I pull it up on the website, though, I think it says by the end of February
yeah,
28th, I think, which I didn't even realize that it had more information there for the first few days. So I wasn't really sure when this had to be done by. But now that I know that apparently this promotion is running through the end of February, when should I do it? Because, right now I'm close, but not quite far enough to requalify for titanium. I would need a couple more nights. And then on the flip side, if I wait until January or February, then, I get extra nights towards next year's elite status. So, I
yeah,
mean, which makes more sense and why?
right, right. Um, so it's kind of interesting because I'd say for most people, the better bet, and for me, it's very clearly the better bet is to wait till next year. So do it in 2021, and because next year, I hope to requalify for at least platinum elite status because probably status won't roll over yet again like it did this year for 2021. And so those 2 nights will count, help count towards status. It's only a little pea in the bucket, as I'm known to say.
Right, right.
Now, for the record, I'm talking about peas in a pod type of peas.
Right. That's not at all what anybody else heard when you
No,
said.
I know. It took me a while to realize that. But anyway, that being said,
I mean, I know you're an environmentally friendly guy, Greg, but I didn't realize you had an outhouse at home,
right. That being said, so if somebody is a couple days away from a level of status they want to achieve this year, then I think it makes sense to do it this year. Your case is kind of weird though, because you're considering getting to titanium status, which you already have and already rolls over because of
Right.
Marriott's pandemic policies. So getting there, the only thing I think getting there gets you is um, is a choice benefit, and you've said before you'd probably pick the 40K free night. So
Right.
would you? Um, is it better for you to try to get that 40K free night this year or get closer to status next year? And I would guess the latter, but
Yeah, the latter is probably true. I think that my hesitation with it was that I thought, well, if I actually get 75 nights this year and then Marriott does something similar next year to what they did this past year, where they gave us all half the number of elite nights in order to get the status
it's
that we had earned the
not out of the
previous
question.
year,
Yeah.
if that kind of thing repeated again, would they do that based on the number of elite nights you actually earned in 2020 rather than your elite status level?
Mhm.
But you get half the number of elite nights you earned, in which case, I'd obviously like to pick up a few more. But at the same time, I think I don't know, it's possible, but it's like I'm going to be spending money on hoping and maybe. And if it was only 2 nights that I was short, then I would probably do it and just, whatever. It's $50 a night. It's still a good investment. The points are worth more to me. So I'm okay with that, with converting my cash to points there. But I also would need another 5-night mattress run that I have booked. So ultimately decided that it's not worth going after. So I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to hold off for January. I don't know as though it's realistic that I'll requalify for anything next year. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know when travel is going to get, more comfortable for me. So, but I'll take those 2 extra nights, I guess, just in case.
How many Marriott free night certificates do you have that are expiring that are in your own account, not
Not
the,
my
family
wife's.
members? Yeah.
Okay, so in my own account, I have 4 or 5, at
Okay.
least
So
5.
not enough to really get you to that next level of status
No, yeah,
necessarily.
that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have so many that I literally, between having two, having personal Marriott and business Marriott credit cards and all my free nights that I'm going to be using next year, I'm going to make it to platinum status
Yeah,
just by using them up.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah,
It's that crazy. Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm not at that level yet. I've got several, but not 5, I think, because I have a couple of 50Ks. So I got them extended, and same thing with the 35Ks. But then I have several 35Ks in my wife's account also, because we hadn't been using hers. We keep getting them extended because she doesn't have status, and I do, and so we end up using my stuff first.
Right.
And
Right.
So, blah blah blah. So
yeah.
So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it. Maybe I won't. But at any rate, if you got targeted for this, go after it. It's worth it. I think that's all there is to say about that. Let's move on to the main event. Talk to me about the main event.
Yes, main event. We're calling it rewards that can't wait. So
TikTok.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that actually have a hard expiration of the end of this calendar year. That if you want to get in on your credit card, airline fee credits, and different things like that, you have to do it now before it's too late, right? Then there's a bunch of things that need to be done soonish, but don't have necessarily a hard set date. So I'll just bring up one, for example, or one sort of group of things are all these free night certificates from different credit cards that have all been extended to this coming summer, to 2021 summer. Like Marriott has them all going through August 1st. Radisson has them going through June or something, June 30th maybe. There's a whole bunch. IHG has them going till I think maybe August or end of July, I forget. Anyway, so
yeah,
this is the time to book those things, but it doesn't have to be before the end of the year, but December, January-ish, that kind of thing soon. Yeah.
Right.
So what are the things in your mind are the must do things? Like just don't, I'm not talking about those little things like, don't miss out on that $5 CVS coupon,
But it expires at the end of the month. You paid $5 a month for the membership. You got to use it, right? I mean,
well, that's true. You do have to use that.
But as a reference to Greg's post about CVS extra rewards, if you haven't read it, then you don't want to miss out on your coupon. But anyway, what are the things? The airline fee credits, first of all, the Amex airline fee credits, because you probably have at least a card or two that has Amex airline fee credits, and you don't want to leave that money on the table. I mean, you gotta use it. You gotta use it or lose it. You gotta use it by December 31st. And do me a favor, don't wait until the very last minute like I did last year, and I bought United Club passes on December 31st, and there they were in the account on December 31st, and they're the charge posted with a January 1st date. I don't even know. I haven't seen something like that before, but sure enough, it did. So what a pain that was. So don't wait until the very last day. Get your Amex airline fee credits out of the way. Get your airline fee credits in general. Bank of America, Ritz. Remember the Ritz card you can use at grocery stores and restaurants, which reminds me that I should have used that at the grocery store last night. Anyway, because I still have some to use on that card that I've forgotten about. So airline fee credits, that's one.
All right, that's a good one. So I have a very obscure one.
Okay.
I mean, it's one that I think you'll be surprised to hear.
Okay.
And that is if you have one of those IHG certificates where instead of extending it to the summer, they issued a new one. So you've got one expiring end of this month. Use it. even if you're not going to stay there.
Wait, what? Why?
All right. So here's why. This came up with somebody I know. Um, they have some Marriott free night certificates that they want to use next year before those expire. Okay. They don't have Marriott Elite status right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what they want to do, Marriott right now, there's no guarantee it'll be available for long, but right now they have a Elite status challenge where you actually get status during the challenge. Okay?
Right from the get-go.
I think we've talked about that before. And
my confusion, by the way, is compounding here because we started with an IHG free night certificate.
Yeah.
Like, migrated over to Marriott like it was no big deal, like it was all the same topic.
Oh, it's all going to circle around.
Okay,
it's going to circle around.
It's going to come full circle. I hope
it will.
Right.
I promise you.
So they have a challenge going, and when you do the challenge, you get the benefits of status right away.
You get the benefits of status. So his plan was, and I think this is a great plan, is to start the challenge before his free night stays, so that he'll have platinum status during his stays, and he's not going to worry about meeting the requirements of the challenge. He doesn't care if he keeps it for another year. What he wants is to have platinum status during his Marriott stays. You with me so far?
Okay. Fair enough. He wants the status for the stays, doesn't care if he keeps it.
Right.
So he wants to start the challenge in time to be able to have it.
Yes. All right. So I looked into the rules for the challenge for him. And one of the things you need to do is, you can status match from IHG Platinum to Marriott Platinum. And anyone with an IHG credit card, certain ones, the ones with an annual fee, has platinum status from the credit card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has
IHG platinum status, which is super exciting because it qualifies here, and that's about the only reason.
Because it qualifies here, but one of the rules of the status challenge is that you show account activity in the matching program that has at least one stay in the past 12 months. And so he needs to use that certificate that's about to expire, that otherwise wouldn't be used at all, to stay somewhere. I mean, he doesn't actually have to stay. He has to check in, though,
right?
So that it shows up on his account as a real stay, and then he can match to Marriott.
Brilliant.
Boom.
Brilliant. And that's really smart, because that happens with status challenges in general. Often when you can do a hotel status match, that's almost always a requirement that you show a stay with the competing program in the last year. And we all know in 2020, there are probably a lot of people that have not had a stay with some of these programs you have elite status with, especially because your status got extended anyway. So you didn't need to stay, right? So yeah, I mean, that's a great, brilliant move there. That isn't a post yet on Frequent Miler, and it should be.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will write that up. But now there is a tiny bit of risk there, which is some people are worried that if you use that free night, that the one that appeared in your account that goes until sometime this summer will disappear, because like the thought is maybe they didn't mean to do that. But I don't believe that, because the email that went out directly from IHG about this said we've added a new free night to your account. And I think if the terminology had been something like we've extended it, or, I think it would have been, I would have been a little bit worried about it. But since they specifically said a new one, they're not thinking about it as the same thing.
And I'll say, I don't think it's going to cause a problem, because we already had a reader who reported, I don't remember if it was an Insiders or on a post, that they used the December expiration one and still have the other one. So it hasn't disappeared yet. I mean, after the first of the year, I guess it could disappear, but unlikely. I agree with Greg. Probably going to hang around, and probably worth having, well, especially, I mean, in this person's situation, worth doing it because they want this challenge anyway and have to be able to show the stay. So might as well try.
And you don't know, even if you're not planning to do a status match, this will, make you eligible for status matches for almost a full year from your stay. So just in case you end up doing it.
And both Wyndham and Hilton have offered similar generous status matches in the past. And so having that stay activity makes sense. Brilliant. Okay, so if you have an IHG certificate that is expiring at the end of this month, that's December 31st, 2020, use it now. Book something. Go check in.
Book it, check in, and you don't have to stay. Exactly.
Okay. Got it. All right. So that's another one down off the list of things that need to be done before the end of the year. Okay. So next up then, let me see. Next thing that's got to be done. Well, for me, this one's in my household. So this is specific to me, but maybe there's other readers with a similar situation. I talked about this on our Ask Us Anything the other day. We got a bunch of Marriott points in my wife's account because they had all these Marriott spending offers this year. We kept hitting all the spending offers up and earning the easy points. And so now she's got well over 100,000 points on her way to 200,000. And we don't really want the points in her account because she doesn't have status. So if we book something out of her account, then we don't get any breakfast or breakfast coupons if we're at a Courtyard, or
Right.
a look of, disapproval from the Ritz check-in agent. We don't get anything from
Does she have an
anybody.
IHG free night expiring at the end of the month, though?
She does not. She doesn't have the
okay.
IHG card.
All right. Too
No,
bad.
she should. But so, because then she could do the challenge, right? I mean,
Right.
she does have Hilton status. Hasn't had a Hilton stay. Anyway, blah 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 blah. All that is to say, we'd rather have the points pooled in one pile in my account. And Marriott lets you transfer 100,000 points per year to somebody else. You can receive up to 500,000 points per year as a Marriott member. And if at least one of you has gold status or higher, it doesn't cost anything to move the points over. You just got to call and do it. So before the 31st, she has to call and transfer 100,000 points to me, or hopefully she will call and transfer 100,000 points to me, so that then after the first of the year, we can move the rest of them over if and when we want, or leave them where they are and have the option to do whatever it is we want to do. So we're going to move 100,000 Marriott points before the end of the year so that we can move the whole pile if we want next year.
Great. That's a really good one. That's kind of an obscure, good tip too. That's not something most people would think about. And yet it is important to do it that way if you want to move them.
Right.
Quick question for you, in case you happen to know off the top of your head. So is it the receiving person that needs to have gold status or better?
Either.
The person sending it? It can be either person.
Either. As long as one or the other has gold status.
Having that elite status unlocks this free transfer.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. As long as one of the two people, doesn't matter whether you're sending or receiving, as long as one of you has gold status, then it's free.
Yeah. So, and is the limit? So, okay. So if for some reason you wanted to transfer from one person without elite status to another without elite, could you go through a person with elite?
I mean, I guess you probably could. I mean, it used to be that they had these limits and then you could exceed the limit for a specific reservation. And I don't think that's the case anymore. I think the 100,000 is a hard limit now, I think. But yeah, I mean, I guess that would probably work to have an intermediary elite member. I don't see why not.
Yeah. So this is how you can move all the points from your wife to your son is through you.
Right. Hard pass. So that's the next thing I'm going to do before the end of the month. What about you? What else? Your turn.
Yeah. So I decided not to. So I thought hard about it, about having my wife apply for the Amex Platinum 100K plus 10X for 6 months offer, and doing it in December in time so that we can collect on the $200 airfare credits, the $50 sacks, it goes on and on, all these credits that are available. And if we were to do it right now, it'd be possible to triple dip those credits. So get credits, as you wrote about in your post, get credits in December, get credits in 2021, and then in January 2022 before she cancels the card. But I decided as a present to myself, I didn't need that extra stress of trying to get all of that done. So
happy holidays, Greg.
Thank you. And I think sometimes that's a totally legitimate answer. Something might make total sense, logical sense to go for it and do it now and do it this way. But, got other stuff going on. And sometimes you just need to say, I'm going to let this opportunity pass. That's not to say she's not going to sign up for it. If it sticks around long enough, we certainly will have her sign up for it, but who knows how long it'll stay around.
Yeah, we certainly don't know. I mean, I think if you think there's a decent chance of applying for it, it makes sense to do it now and get yourself an extra set of credits. However, on the flip side, if you want to extend that 6 months of 10X at grocery, U.S. supermarkets and U.S. gas stations, then obviously you would, in your case, want to wait longer to apply because you've already got the next 6 months covered. So she could, theoretically cover farther into the future than that. So that kind of makes some sense. I see where you're going with that. The other thing I'm going to mention about that is that I thought about it too. And the reason that I haven't done it is because I've got a lot of credits now. kicking around. So I have a bump voucher from United that's going to expire in October of 2021, a $1,500 bump voucher rather. And then I did a bunch of the United Travel Bank loading to use up airline credits. So I got like almost another $1,000 in United Travel Bank credit. And I just rarely ever fly on paid flights. So I'm like, I know that's valid for 5 years, but really in the last 5 years, I haven't spent $2,500 on United flights. So, and I've got enough now between the travel bank that I have and the voucher that, I mean, I'm set on paid United flights. And then when you consider on top of that, that we mostly fly Southwest domestically because of the companion pass, and we got plenty of Southwest points right now, and I have plenty of points everywhere else. I just don't really see needing the additional airline credit right now in my situation. So I was like, it's a great opportunity, but similar but slightly different. I just thought I don't really see I don't know when I'm going to use what I got. So
yeah.
out of control.
Right. No. How about you? Anything else that you absolutely have to get done this year?
Absolutely have to by the 31st. Yeah, I know there is. Somebody said something and I said, I need to add that to my list of things to do by the 31st. And now it's escaping my mind right now. I don't know. Is that it? Is that all of the must-dos?
So
I feel pressure on some of the things that don't have to be done by the 31st, but in terms of must-dos, is there something else that comes to mind for you?
Well, it's sort of on the edge of a must-do, but I had forgotten, the Uber credits that you can use for Uber Eats. So it's what, $35 this month? Normally it's $15. So that's pretty compelling. And I sort of vaguely thought I had already used the credit, but because of your post, I went into my Uber account and checked, and then I saw, oh, wait a minute. Yes, I used about $30 of the 35, but I had another $35 credit because I forgot I have 2 Platinum cards right now because of the new, that new deal, and I have the Schwab Platinum, and so I've got about $40 left over, which. Not the end of the world if I don't use it, but I might as well do a Uber Eats order and get basically a free meal out of it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. Certainly, you don't want to let that go by the wayside. I saw some discussion in Frequent Miler Insiders this week about, is there any way to kind of harness that for future use? And I'm just not aware of any way to harness that for future use anymore. There was some discussion about things that worked in the past that don't anymore. Is there any way that you know of in order to be able to keep that for future use if I'm not going to use it in time?
Yeah, I mean, you could open up a restaurant and place orders from yourself.
Right. So essentially, use it or lose it. Use it or lose it.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I mean, yes, there are like, I'm sure there are sneaky things that would be sort of across the line of what I'd be willing to do, but I think of it as sort of like free Uber Eats each month, whereas pre-pandemic I thought of it as free rides each month.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm feeling pressure on to do is to create a plan, and it's not something. So this is one of those things that it doesn't necessarily have to be done by the 31st of the month, but I really do need to create a plan for my free night certificates because you brought up the fact that you have some more time. You don't have to use them quite yet, but like I'm looking at a bunch of them, and the Radisson ones in particular are like itching at me, like, what the heck am I going to do with these Radisson free night certificates that expire in the middle of the summer? I mean, I need to make a plan and find out what it is I'm going to do with those because I also want to be able to get good value out of all the rest of them. And so I don't even think it's necessarily a matter of picking the hotel, but at least kind of setting out a game plan. Like, this is around where and when I think I'm going to use each of these, and like setting up reminders for myself.
I have a couple of concrete examples of why it is important to get going on those. So, last weekend I did research into what are the best like 35K Marriott options, and I had that published Monday morning. Right after it published, someone wrote and said, well, there were a couple in Virginia Beach that were on my list. And this person said, no, on that date, there's everything in Virginia Beach cost 40K or more, not 35K or less. And I looked up and sure enough, he was right. And so those things are changing by the minute. Other people reported similar things. And then I had something similar happen, IHG. I found there's a particular IHG I'm really interested in staying at. and I looked across, a whole month to see was it available during that month, and for 40K or less, it was usually actually more. But I found a few days that had 40K or less. I didn't book it right at that moment, and I came back actually this morning, and only one day of the whole month was available. So I snagged that one day, but I was hoping to actually book a couple because I have more than one. Anyway, go to it sooner the better. It's definitely not like 12/31 isn't a concrete date on it, but there's no question sooner the better. This summer, competition for hotels and resorts in the United States is going to be insane. That's my hard prediction that I feel 100% confident about, that it's going to be crazy. And so you got to book soon. If
I agree.
Stay then.
No, I think you're totally right about that. Competition is going to be high. Forget about it even for your certificates, just cash, dollar wise. So everybody's going to be staying at these. So yeah, I mean, the chances of getting a good rate, even if you're looking for a paid rate, are only going to decrease as we get closer to the summer. So,
that's right.
So
not the rates that are going to decrease.
Right.
The chance of getting decreased rates is going to decrease.
Exactly. Now, backing up to Amex cards for a second, something else that popped into my mind. This is not on my list of things that I need to get done by the end of the year, but it might be on somebody listening's list. So apply for the Amex Gold card. And the reason I say that is because this year will be the last time that you'll be able to double dip, or the only time you'll be able to double dip between the $100 travel credit and the Uber credit that is going to be debuting in January. So next year, they're going to have both benefits on the card. But in future years, an Uber benefit, a $10 a month Uber benefit, is going to replace the $100 airline incidental credit. So last two chances to get that card with that benefit right now. And I say last two chances because if you were to apply now, you could get $100 in airline incidental credits before the end of this month, in the next couple of days, and then another $100 in airline incidental credits next year, along with the Uber benefit. So if you value the Uber benefit, you don't want to go after the Platinum card for some reason, you don't want to spend the money on the Platinum card, Gold card could also be worth a look for now. So, and it's worth it now over, several weeks from now for that extra $100 in your pocket. So
yeah, right.
So that's
a really good one. Yeah.
And I don't know when they're going to stop offering. I know that next year the card is still going to have the $100 airline incidental credit, but I don't know when they're going to stop offering that to new applicants. Like, I mean, is it possible they're going to stop offering that for new applicants sometime before the end of the year? I really have no idea.
I don't. So that seems very unlikely to me. The way Amex works is they usually have those kind of benefits as concrete, unless they are like Amex offers where you have to sign up, right?
So there you go.
Yeah.
Gold card.
All right.
It's winding down. I feel like there was something else that was just on my list like earlier today, and I've forgotten it. And that's why I should have written it down. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a free pass if you want to like interject.
I will.
Or you want to trade in your post roast for this thing that you suddenly remembered. You can do that.
I probably will not do that. So
speaking of which, let's move into post roast time, right?
Post roast. That's right. So I'm going to hop right in this week. So this week you wrote about one of the most compelling cards to launch on the market in recent memory. So you wrote about, of course, everybody knows that I'm talking about
I know it's coming.
The Verizon credit card, right? And you said that if you were a Verizon person, you would be kind of interested in this. I can't remember the exact wording. Actually just escaped me, which is too bad because I was really hoping to roast exactly that wording, that if you were a Verizon customer, that maybe you would go after this card. You would find it intriguing, and you're not. And you lamented the fact that you're an AT&T customer. And if AT&T had an option to save $10 a month with a credit card, that you would totally be on the AT&T credit card train. So you said you'd be tempted. If I was a Verizon customer, I'd be tempted. Now this Verizon credit card offers Verizon dollars. So the sign-up bonus on this card is $100 paid as monthly credits over 2 years. So
I know.
So 24 months, you're going to get your like $4 a month for the next 2 years for signing up for the card. And, I'm just signing up for it. I don't think there's any spending requirement. And then the equivalent.
Well, actually, there's not a spending requirement, but you have to pay your bill with the Verizon card each month in order to get that credit.
Right. Right.
So
So in order to
that's
get
why
your
I didn't even mention that bonus in my post, because that seems so trivial. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. So in order to get your $4 a month, you need to forego earning 5 points per dollar to get your $4 a month, right? So that's, I mean, that's already, I'm like, come on, you're not gonna waste a slot on a card like, but then you go another step beyond that and you say, okay,
Oh,
so what does the card offer? It offers Verizon dollars that you can only use at Verizon. So it's like Verizon funny money. And the category bonuses, 4% grocery, 4% gas. Come on, Craig. Would you really be all that tempted by 4% grocery and 4% gas? Or do those not pale in comparison to the cash back you can already earn? I know you have Bank of America Platinum Honors status, so you have the cash rewards card. You could get 5.25% back on gas for up to 2,500 spend a quarter with that. Who are you kidding? You'd be tempted by 4% Verizon funny money? Come
yeah.
on. Would you really be tempted by this card? If it were the AT&T card with all the same stuff, would you go after it?
I would, with a big caveat. So first of all, I had to amend my post because of reader comments, which I was told, and I believe the readers telling me this, that the $10 a month you save per line by having this card and putting it on auto pay is the exact same $10 a month savings you get if you pay with a debit card or with your bank account. And so I didn't know that when I first wrote the post. So I wrote an update. But getting back to your question, if it was AT&T who doesn't have a $10 discount by paying with a debit card, would I get a card that has the same features? And I would be tempted, because let's say you have 4 people on the AT&T account, which I think is what we have. Then that's it. Just having the card and putting on auto pay, I'm just saving automatically $40 a month. It's just a set and forget. It's like I'm getting that savings every month automatically. And I love things like that, where you don't have to do any more work. You just set it up, boom. I wouldn't use it at grocery stores or anything, because yes, I have other cards that offer more at spend. I would use it only for the AT&T bill, only because it gives those savings. And yeah, I'd be losing out on 5X, but $40 a month would be way better than 5X rewards for my in cash. So yeah.
Right. And that's true. And that's, if it were really saving you the $10 a month, then okay. But as it turns out, of course, the card is not really saving you anything, because you could already do that same, I guess, in fairness, you get 2% back on your Verizon bill, right?
Right.
So I guess you get
so
the
it's
extra.
A little bit
2%.
better than paying with a debit card, but
a little bit.
But it's not.
So again, if your bill is $200 a month, we're talking about $4 a month. So here's another 4. You can toss that with the rest, guys. So
right. Although one other thing to mention, though, is the earning Verizon bucks or dollars, whatever they're called. I don't think is that bad of a deal for people who are spending, let's say over $100 a month anyway on Verizon, because those dollars can be used to pay your bill as well. And so it's close to real cash, I think, in that way. Anyway,
close to real cash, but not even great category. I mean, they're good category bonuses ish, I guess, if you don't have any other cards that offer category bonuses. And the grocery one, I guess, 4% is not bad if you don't have anything else that offers a grocery bonus. That's actually pretty good.
There's nothing else that's uncapped at grocery stores. And
there you go.
All possible, I guess, that Synchrony isn't going to shut people down for going overboard on that. I don't really know.
But of course you can't, but you talk about going overboard. You can't really go overboard because your bill is only so much per month, right? I mean,
you could buy phones. You could buy iPhones and Samsung phones or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't only use them. Okay. All right. So I take that back. All right. So anyway, that was kind of a fun roast for me, because Greg asked me to write. He said, hey, there's this new card. We should probably have a post about it. And he sent me an email like 3 times telling me that I should write about it. And I kept forgetting to write about it. So he did. So he got roasted, whereas I know it would have been the other way around. And I actually written about it. So that was just a kind of a fun roast for me, because it should have been me in that seat. But but there we go. That's my roast. I thought the Verizon card is a total snoozer, but you convinced me that maybe in an alternate universe where it actually saved money, it would be not a total snoozer. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, I have
Uh-huh.
a meta roast.
A meta roast. Uh-oh.
You never
Oh.
met a roast more scalding than this one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm going to roast last week's roast. So
You're gonna
last
roast
week,
last week's
let me
roast.
tell you what happened last week. I don't
Okay.
actually remember. I
I don't
remember
know. I have
what
no
you
idea what
roasted,
happened last week.
but let me tell you what you didn't roast is I gave you a holiday present last week. I wrote a whole post about how you could save $5 or $10 here or there at CVS, thinking
You
the
did.
whole time
That
this
was the
is going to
post I was
be
going to roast.
great for Nick because I teased him about his cash app
Cash App,
post
yep.
where you
You
could
sure
save
did.
$5 here or there. And what would be a more fitting counter roast than Greg writing about CVS? I mean, come on. How could you miss an opportunity like that?
I did have it in, I don't even remember what I roasted you about because I did have it in mind that, oh my goodness, this is definitely post roast fodder here. I mean, we're talking about, paying 5 to get 10 at CVS every month. I mean, yeah. But no, you kind of convinced me as I read through it. I was like, maybe I ought to get that CVS membership. And then I was like, oh my goodness, Greg, you ought to work for CVS because why am I thinking about paying $5 a month for CVS? Get out of here. Come on. Yes, you're right. I should have roasted that, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
So I'm very disappointed
I
in
did.
you about
I'm
that.
sorry. But you were saving some money, right? I mean, you did show some opportunities to save real money.
I absolutely save money, but it absolutely fits in the same category as where I roasted you before. It's you're talking about little bit, spending a lot of time learning a new system and spending and learning, saving a bit here and there, and it's not a lot.
It's only if you enjoy the thrill of the hunt. If you enjoy the thrill of the
That's
hunt,
true.
and I think that a lot of people in this game do. And so if you
Right.
do, it's kind of fun. I think that's the way I looked at it. I looked at it and when I first read the first paragraph, I was like, wait, Greg's writing about pharmacy rewards? Like that should be my territory if anybody's. And
Right.
I'm not even interested, right? So I didn't think I was going to read the whole post. I got through the first paragraph. I was like, there's no way I'm going to read this whole thing about CVS, right? And then I started reading it and I was like, oh, 40%, huh? Oh, really? 5 for 10. I mean, hey, and so I kept reading it, and I was like, actually, that sounds kind of interesting. So that's why I didn't. I guess that's why I didn't roast you because I was like, oh, I mean,
There you go.
Saving some money. That's the name of the game. All right.
Yes.
So you gave everybody a present with that one. You gave them a way to save a little money on the stuff that they actually need to buy.
That's right. I mean, it's real savings. So, and you don't have to do much work. It's not actually that hard. I mean, although people, in the comments are like, well, you save more if you go in store and you could do this and that. And so you can make it a lot of work and you could save huge amounts. And one person like gives all this stuff to like a charity, which is fantastic. But sort of my point was like, you could do very minimal work and just order stuff from home because it gives you free shipping and all that stuff. That's my approach to it is like minimal amount of work. That's what I want to do.
That's how you drew me in. Because what always bores me about pharmacy rewards is I live in the middle of nowhere. So I don't have there's no CVS anywhere near me. So I'm not going to get all invested in this program where I got to drive out of my way somewhere to go try and find a CVS to, once a month to be able to use it. But that was what got me. I was like, oh, well,
right.
You can do this from home and you come out basically ahead because you're paying 5 for 10 each month. So even if their prices are pretty marked up, you're at the very least probably coming out even each month on what it's costing you. And then if you're able to also leverage one of those coupons, I mean, hey, it's fun.
Yes.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo. All right. And then if you use your Cash App card loaded with a 10% back at CVS to pay, huh? Yeah.
I was curious about that, whether the app had any CVS discounts on there.
I'm pretty sure that it has. I'm gonna pull it up right here while we're talking about it because I'm pretty sure that I saw a CVS one in there. I know Walgreens has been on there left and right, but maybe not CVS. Nope, just seeing Walgreens. So.
That's too bad because this would be a good show if we just spent all our time like you looking at apps and saying, look at what's there.
Everybody would vote us right up the charts. Shoot up the charts. All right. Okay. So that brings us then to question of the week. And Dale asked a good question that I know you already saw, but I think it's a question that he's not the only person who will have at some point. And I think this is a really good one to answer. So Dale asks, Anyone know of a way to quickly get a few membership rewards points? I was waiting on mine to post, just signed up for the first Amex card in a long time. The statement closed today, but no points posted. In Amex chat, I was told they do not post on current statement, but on the next statement, which is strange. Points post always a month behind. Like that doesn't make sense to him. He's saying, I delayed some Amex or Amazon shopping until I had membership rewards in order to use the discount, because anybody who's been paying attention knows that Amazon has been offering these deals where you use one membership rewards point, you get 30% off, 40%, 50%, 60% off even for some accounts. So he said he delayed some Amazon shopping. He even asked the rep if there was a way to just give him a few points. Can you just give me 2 or 3 points so I can use one of those points at Amazon and get the discount, hoping for some goodwill? And they said no. So what's the secret, Greg? What can you do if you're like a few points short, whether you need those points for the Amazon discount or you're 6 points short of what you need in order to book a valuable award or whatever else? What do you do?
Right. So you probably know the answer better than me. If I recall, someone on Frequent Miler Insider suggested that he go ahead and pay the bill early, and that would trigger the points to come. And apparently that actually worked. Am I remembering that right?
You absolutely are. Yeah, that's it, exactly it. When your statement cuts, if you haven't paid the balance off, you're not going to get the points until you pay the balance. At least that's been my experience with Amex all along. And as soon as you pay, like that next day or so, or later that day, maybe even probably the next day, the points post. So that's the way to get the points to post from your statement cut. You don't have to wait until the next statement generates. You just have to pay it right away.
Right. Okay. So, and I had offered advice before I realized that there was better advice on there, because I didn't actually know that. What I said was, he had tried, I think, if I remember right, calling Amex and was told there's nothing they could do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he asked to speak to a supervisor, because in my experience, the first line people literally can't do anything about it, but a supervisor can issue goodwill points. And I would think that if you get a supervisor on the phone and he asks for 1 point, that they'll probably throw like 500 points at you or something. But that seems to me a likely outcome as well. But paying it off is a much better solution.
Well, that's the quick solution. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whatever you've spent, paying it off. And that's not going to work mid-cycle, to be clear. It's going to work after your statement has closed and you have, whatever it was, you spent $2,000, statement closed, you owe $2,000 on the next payment or whatever it may be. At that point, after the statement is closed, paying the bill is going to make the points post. But it's not like Capital One where, a couple days after you make the purchase, the points post to your account. That's not typically the case. Although if you're on that new Amex Platinum offer, then the grocery bonus points do post to your account right away. And an Amex offer that you use, those points post within a day usually of making the charge. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you had an Amex offer for, spend $50, get 1,000 points somewhere, or the extra 8X at Amazon, buying something cheap, that'll also cause those points to post within a couple of days, because the bonus points from Amex offers and the bonus points for the grocery and gas bonus on the Platinum card, the temporary bonus on those do post within a day or two.
So. Oh, that's a great tip. Yeah, very good.
So that's another thing to keep in mind. And then, like Greg said, definitely supervisor should be able to give you some points. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't just offer to give you a couple points, not a couple, probably 500 or 1,000 or something. I once had an offer I wasn't able to add online. It showed as available in my account, but when I hit add, it just gave me an error every time. And I spoke to somebody and they tried to see, and there was nothing they could do. And they said, I'll tell you what, I'll just give you the points as a courtesy, and you promise me you're actually going to spend the money at whatever store it was, right? I was like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Make that charge right now.
Yeah.
So they did give me the points, so they can give you points.
Right. And Amex also has a way, if I remember right, of paying for the extra points you need, paying like 2.5 cents each for the extra points you need, but for an award. Like, so you have to be redeeming, if I'm remembering right, I could be wrong, but I think it's that it has to be like you're trying to do something like transfer points to an airline partner, or, use points for some specific purpose that you could look at and you could tell them, all right, see, I need this many, and they can sell you those points. So I guess you could probably call and say, I want to buy this $1 thing on Amazon, so I need 100 points. Can I buy them? Maybe that would work too, but I think all the other things you mentioned, I would try first before.
Yeah, maybe. maybe that would work. And Amex has the points advance on the Delta cards, right? Where you can basically get a loan on your points ahead of time. Is that a
I
good
don't
deal?
think. I mean,
I think it's only on
I,
the Delta cards.
I
to my
think right.
knowledge.
I mean, it's not a bad. Like, I think as long as you earn those points within a certain amount of time on your card, then you don't end up paying anything to borrow the points. So I think it's a fine deal from that point of view. I think it's a bad deal if you fail to, because then you have to pay more than you wanted for Delta
Whatever
miles.
it is, free miles. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, there you go. So that was the question of the week. So
Good one.
that, my friends, brings us to the end. So thank you guys for being out there listening with us this week. We always enjoy it. If you have enjoyed what you've been listening to and you want to read the posts as soon as they come out, you want to get on our email list and follow us on social media, you want to go to frequentmiler.com/subscribe. Again, that's frequentmiler.com/subscribe in order to get on our email list. Thank you guys all very much, and we will see you again next week.
Thanks, everybody.